Okay, still working on the put together, not basket case, but the bike that came in parts. We've got our table over here. We've taken a lot of parts off that table already and put them on the bike. Today, just a few minutes ago, we accomplished getting the rear fender on. When we unpacked this fender, both Kevin and I looked at it and said, oh my, wow, that is lovely. It's a beautiful, beautiful paint job, which naturally scared the heck out of us as we had to mount the thing. You didn't want to do any damage to this paint job. It's just lovely. So you'll see the blue painter's tape that we lined on both sides just to protect it as we put it in. We have the front bracket installed down here with a spacer. That's nicely done. Notice the offset of the hole. The hole that was in the fender was in the wrong place. So you can say I made a new hole, or as we used to say in electronics, I practiced a little bit of hole flow theory, and the hole flowed up to where it was needed. So up here, we made a rubber gasket to go underneath the cross brace. And back here, we made rubber gaskets underneath the bolts. And back here, we made rubber gaskets to go underneath the bolts back here. Now notice back here, there are two holes here that don't fit anything, and two holes are needed here in order to put the taillight assembly on. Let me grab the taillight assembly. If you'll take this, Kevin, I'll get the taillight assembly and show how it's going to be mounted. I put this together last night, and it goes on here like so. So we have to drill two holes down here for these bolts, and I have to drill a hole here for this bolt. So this fender wasn't naturally made for this bike, but it's a good adequate Triumph fender, and these will go on here very nicely. We'll have this beautiful lamp assembly on here very shortly. All right, very good. Thank you. All right, we got the taillight assembly on, looking good. Drilled out the holes, fitted it to it. Looks like it was sort of like supposed to go there. It looks good. Very nice. Okay. I think we'll put the chain guard on next, and then maybe start on the electrical system. All right, since we last spoke, we put the taillight on. We told you about that. Then we went ahead and mounted the chain guard and the rear brake switch and did a preliminary adjustment on that, so it should work. Chain guard looks good. Walking up this way, we went ahead and hung the ignition coils on their bracketry. They're set. So, some progress was made. We may start on the electrical system tomorrow, the next day when we next work. And starting to come together. Won't be long before we put the front fender and gas tank on, and then it will start to look like a motorcycle. That'll be cool. Later. Well, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, and we're just going to do a quick shop update. Our little yellow BSA/Triumph is complete except for the front brakes, which are ordered but not in yet. When we get that done, we'll call it good. It's easy to start now, easy for a single. This 70 Norton is here. I've got the cover off of the transmission. We're installing a new kicker seal, a 1975 style kicker seal. The machinist has that cover, and we'll put the seal in. This white bobber, this is a beautiful white bobber, starts and runs just great. We're going to do an extended charge on the battery because the client said that when he turned on the lights, it killed the motor. So we're going to charge the battery overnight, get a nice strong charge, and retry it, because we did start the bike, we did turn the lights on, and it didn't kill it if we had the engine RPMs up. That could indicate that the battery is weak and can't sustain it when it's at an idle. We'll find that out once we do a real strong charge on the battery. This Triumph is finished and ready to be picked up, hopefully in the next few days. This Norton is a 75, and we've got the go-ahead to start the project. That whole box over there on the wall belongs to it. We got all kinds of parts in there, and just waiting for room on the lift. Speaking of the lift, we'll go around here and say good morning, Kevin.
Good morning.
And on the lift we have what we're calling the puzzle bike. This is a very nice partial restoration. Gentleman owned it and passed away. His sister had the bike and had moved it all over the country for like 10 years, always thinking someday I'll get it put together. So I get to do this. Now here's the fun part. I'm going to go up here and show you my sign again. A neighbor actually made me this sign. I thought that was really nice. Frank's Motorcycle Garage. That's kind of cool because this bike, the gentleman who was building it, was named Frank. So I get to finish putting it back together. And we've got it partial, and we're going to do more today. With this bike came all these parts, which we've laid out on the table and organized and gotten ready. This is not part of it, but I'll take that away. Okay, and so that's a whole table full of parts. This is the Norton and something else. The paint job on this bike is just exquisite. Whoever was doing it was really, really good. And it's lovely, beautiful quality. Interesting color, beautiful quality. And the tank going over here, the tank is up inside that white package. And the oil tank, I believe, is up there. Here's the seat. And no, we've mounted the tank already. Yeah, we mounted the oil tank already. And mufflers and exhaust. And there's the front fender. So that shelf up there belongs to this bike. And we're going to try to make some progress today. That'd be nice. Let's see what we can get done today and see how much closer to being a full bike the bike will become. So that's where we are, and I'll do a follow-up every now and then so you can see the progress. Well, Kevin and I have had a full day. A client came by, we started this bike for him. He's happy. We're still waiting on the front brakes. We'll replace those and call it good. We've got the machinist came by and has the cover for this transmission on the Norton, and we'll put the new oil seal in it for me. That's great. Not so happy with this. The battery may be dead. We tried to see some lights this morning, had none, put the charger on it all day long. Still don't have lights. I'll put a test on the battery tomorrow, see if it actually is bad or if I'm doing something wrong. This bike is still finished, waiting to be picked up. This bike is still waiting for lift time. We've got most of the parts. My two bikes are sitting happy duty, quiet, and wishing that I would come start them and take them for a ride. We did a lot on this bike, and unfortunately it's hard to tell. First of all, we hung the carburetor, have beautiful snap on the throttle. So that sounds really good. Wired the ignition system into the coil, so all the coil wiring is done. I call that center bike wiring. The carburetor's mounted. The wires under the seat, which I call under seat wiring, are all staged and ready to be picked up and connected. I'll do that tomorrow. We put the magnetic pickup in for the ignition system and set it to a full advanced, so it's ready to be tested. Let's see, going up here we've got some wires in the headlight connected. These wires will also go inside the headlight and be connected to each other in various and sundry other things. A lot of these wires won't be used. No turn signals, for example, stuff like that. And the ignition wires are all truncated because with the electronic ignition you don't need a lot of them. The wiring here on the center bike wiring here is done, looks good, and made the spark plug wires, put them on, that looks good. And once again over here the under seat wiring looks good, and these wires will be connected to the battery and various and sundry other systems. So it's been a full day. Here's the ignition timing marking. I always paint them white so you can see them when I use the strobe light. And that's where you set it full advanced on that mark, and set the other side to the little pointers inside the little windows, and that's your initial setting. It's very, very simple. So the bike is starting to come together. We've got the exhaust pipes on also. They look nice. And over here on the bench, I have the mufflers all cleaned up and shiny, and the muffler mounts. I'm going to take these outside and put a coat of primer on them, and then later on tonight go out and put a coat of black paint on them. And tomorrow we will hang the mufflers. So it's 2:45 now. We've been working since 8. We took about an hour and a half in the center off for other stuff, the other bike and other things. So it's been a full day for both Kevin and I. And that's the way things are. And the fun just never stops.